Kamala's polls continue to collapse. We'll poke around and see what's happening in the betting markets. You can see here from election betting odds, they've got Trump up 58 over 40. Good looking numbers. And all of these very important states like Georgia, Arizona, North Carolina, the blue wall, Pennsylvania, all of them looking pretty red. Not good for the Democrats. Now, while this is happening, Mika Brzezinski is having a meltdown. So she came out this morning and is just absolutely losing it. And you can understand why, because they say that Trump is literally killing women. Okay, she says that. She tells her audience, Trump is literally killing us right now. We'll come back to that. But here are what the markets look like. So Poly Market is showing us right now at the moment, Trump looks like 61 over 38.7. These numbers are up and down, and it looks like there was an interesting permutation. Let's see, 6 hours ago. Let's go 1 week. Yeah, so Trump came back down a little bit. Now he's moving back up. So hovering around that 60% mark, which is very nice on Poly Market. We've also got over on Kelshi, another site, same numbers mirroring here, 59 to 41. And there's about $60 million of volume on Kalshi. On Poly Market, there's about 2.3 billion in volume. That's a lot. All right, so those are the numbers. Now, back to traditional polls, you can see Real Clear Politics also has some numbers for us. The latest polls from Real Clear Politics, where did those go? Here it is. All the latest polls, hopefully loading up here. Perfect. And you can see they're showing Trump up pretty consistently. So Wall Street Journal, Trump +3, 49 to 46. CNBC, Trump +2, 48 to 46. National here from Tip still has Harris up +3, but the rest of these are Trump +1. My gosh. Pennsylvania +1, Wisconsin +1, North Carolina +2, Arizona +1, Georgia's a tie, South Dakota +27, obviously, and then some other races there that they're measuring. So the numbers look great. Of course, we're not taking any of this for granted. We want to win in overwhelming fashion. And Nate Silver is the only one who's keeping things with Harris above the fold there. But even those numbers are crunching together as time goes on. So 48 to 46 there. And a big part of what we're talking about is the silent Trump voter that's not showing up in the polls. So they're having a hard time. This was another prognostication from Real Clear Politics. This is their electoral college estimate right now, the 226. Look at those numbers. Amazing. So they've got Wisconsin flip into Trump, Michigan flip into Trump, North Carolina, Georgia's going Trump, Arizona, Nevada. Wild, right? Real Clear Politics. This is from them, the no toss-up map, the 226, which are just outstanding numbers. Here's another snapshot of the national polls. Things are trending Trump's direction. And you can see recently 1014 to 1016. So like a week ago, things were all plus Harris. Then this week, things are starting to trend plus Trump. The average is now Harris at plus 0.2. So nice developments there. Of course, we're getting our ballots in, baby. Hopefully you're getting your ballots in too, because we need to win in overwhelming fashion. But with all this number, all these polls afoot, some people are very upset about it. And Mika Brzezinski is having a rough morning. Here is what she is sounding like on the Brzezinski show.
Important as Trump's fascism, and is the lead story every day. His cozying up to dictators, his obsession with Hitler that has now come out, what he has said about our veterans, and what he wants to do with the military against his political adversaries. It's all huge news. This is the future that we're looking at in the next Trump term, if there is one. But this is what voters know right now, that he is killing us. I'm talking about us women. He's killing us.
What?
He is putting us at risk. He is making us afraid to have babies. He is putting our reproductive health at risk. And some women have died already.
Really?
Because of this. So we can see right now what's coming. These headlines, and very good reporting, by the way, that shouldn't be questioned by idiots. about what Trump has said about Hitler, that's incredibly important to know. But I do understand that people who are busy and that are people who are just tapping in may not be able to comprehend because we've been free.
Is she going to cry?
We've been comfortable. We cannot comprehend that. And I understand that. I validate that it is hard to go from here to there. It is where we're going. I hope we don't find out the hard way. But what's happening with women right now is real, and it is playing out across America.
Having a mental breakdown on TV, like a mental breakdown. You're killing us. We're not having babies anymore. What a psycho. And everybody else is sitting around this panel just indulging in this lunacy. Where was the rest of that group? Who else is on that panel? They cut from that panel pretty quickly so that we didn't have to see it. Where was that? There it is. Who else is sitting around going, this lady's having a rough morning? And the reporting's great on that John Kelly story that he just dropped right now, 13 days before an election. So you see, they're not having a good time. And that is pretty much being mirrored elsewhere. Trump's favorabilities are also higher than Kamala's now. Can you believe that? Obviously we can.
Looking at this next thing here in terms of favorability, Harris has lost all her post-convention bouts. She went from +3 in the September NBC poll to -10 back where she was in our August survey. That's a sign Trump has been landing blows on her image, and maybe perhaps she's been doing it to herself as well. Trump maintains his -13 to -6. He was -13 in August too, so he's improved his favorability. Looking at
so Trump is better than Kamala. If she's at -10, he's at -6. Huh. Curious. Now, we have been very excited to see more of Kamala here from the very beginning. We said, yes, put her out there. Let's see more Kamala, because the more we see of her, the less we like of her. Obviously, we knew that, but we wanted the rest of the American public to meet her and be introduced as well. Here's Frank Luntz saying she's struggling.
I think that clip illustrates exactly why Harris is in trouble at this point. And it's something that I don't understand why the campaign does not address. They asked her specifically, where do you stand on the wall? And what does she do? She goes and shifts it right to Donald Trump. Immediately mentions him twice within the first 5 seconds. She still hasn't closed the deal. She still hasn't said to people exactly what she would do. In fact, what she should have done in the opening of that town hall is said, I want to tell you what I'm going to do in the first hour, in the first day, and in the first week. And it's going to take me 5 minutes. So Anderson, you're going to have to sit tight. Here's what we're going to do by 1 p.m. She didn't do any of that. She hasn't told the public
Frank,
step by step what she's about.
Let me ask you.
I think that clip
can't do it, Frank. And it's outside of her capability. So here is CNN giving us a rundown on this. Now, this guy, I appreciate his analysis and his enthusiasm for the numbers and the polls and his ability to add things and subtract. It's impressive. Now, what we'll see is that he's explaining that we might actually see a situation like we're watching at Real Clear Politics. And that would be great. We'd also like to see a victory in the popular vote as well. Right? Again, we'll just take our victory and we're going to make sure we get the victory before we start counting the chickens. But this number is, I think, becoming more of a probability, which is why Mika and others are having their rough mornings. But he won't come out and say that Trump is going to get the 300, right? He'll play coy a little bit for us and say either person could get this. Polls aren't perfect and you never know. So it could go 300 for Kamala too. Let's see what they say.
We have been talking about the idea that there's going to be, I think I might have said it on this particular program, but in fact, will the winner get at least 300 electoral votes? The answer is majority yes. There's a majority yes chance, 60% chance that the winner of this election gets at least 300 electoral votes.
And I just have to toot my own horn here a little bit, Beep, because when we were here on another, I think it was a Membo stream, I think I said specifically 60% chance that we know on election night, right, that this is over on election night. So I don't know. I think maybe 60%. That's just shooting from the hip. But I think that's right. I think that, yeah, if our worldview is right, I think there's going to be such an urgent demand for change that it will be too big to rig. And if you have a couple states that flip early in a certain timeline, in a certain progression, I think that makes it so that they cannot steal it, right? And that's what they're, I think, measuring right here.
Versus just a 40% chance that the winner ends up getting less than 300 electoral votes. So for all the talk that we've had about this election being historically close, which it is, chances are the winner will still actually score a relative blowout in the Electoral College.
Oh my God, you're making my hair hurt. Boom! How can it be that it's so close, but yet still more likely than not that it's a fairly big victory in the Electoral College?
Yeah, so let's take a look at that polling average, all right? So if you look across the 7 key swing states, the 7 closest states, in all of them, the margin right now is under 2 points. But keep in mind, polling ain't perfect, my dear friends. On average, since 1972, in the battleground states, in the key swing states, the average error in the key swing states is 3.4 points. So if all of the battleground states go in one direction, you can end up with a map like this for Kamala Harris, where she wins all the key Great Lake battleground states, wins North Carolina, wins Georgia, wins Arizona, wins Nevada, and she gets to 319.
That's even better than Biden did.
That's even better than Biden did. Of course, it could go in the other direction, whereby Trump wins all the key Great Lake battleground states, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada, and he gets to 312 electoral
And
votes.
that's even better than Trump did in 2016.
Exactly right. So based upon what we see with the average polling error and how close the states are at this point, if all of the states move in one direction, one of these candidates could score a relative blow in the Electoral College, win 300 plus electoral votes.
What does history tell us about the possibility of all these states moving in one direction?
History tells us that it is more likely than not that all of the swing state polling errors would move in one direction. So in 2012, 92% of the states moved in Obama's direction. That is, the polls underdid Obama. In 2016, 83% of the swing states moved together because the polls underdid Donald Trump. Of course, we all remember that. And how about in 2020? 100% of the swing state polling averages underestimated Donald Trump. And so he did better than a lot of folks thought. So this time around, don't be surprised if the swing state polls, when they underestimate one candidate, they underestimate all of them in the states. And that would lead to a relative electoral college blowout with one of the candidates winning at least 300 electoral
And Harry,
votes.
finally, what did you learn about the word underdid?
It is a real word. It is a real word. I underdid my dictionary growing up, and I found out that I still have words that I need to learn.
He's funny, man. That's good. Underdid. That's a good one. All right. That's a vocab word of the day. Underdid. All right. So they underdid Trump the last 2 elections. They're underdoing him now. And we are hoping and working hard for an outcome that looks like this and not like the other possibility. So we're getting our votes in. Get those ballots filled out and turned in, my friends. That's our plan here. And we'll see you on the other side. All right.